My first encounter with the alien woman began in a dense, primordial jungle on an exoplanet humanity called Area 7. As an exobiologist on an exploration team, I was no stranger to bizarre life forms. But nothing prepared me for her. Her form was humanoid, with skin that shimmered like molten silver under the faint light of the planet's 3 moons. Her eyes, large and luminous, shifted colors in hypnotic patterns, almost like they were speaking a language of their own. Her voice resonated both inside my ears and somewhere deeper, in my mind. "Do not be afraid, human. I am not a monster," she said, her melodic voice trembling with sincerity. But she didn't let go of my arm. Her fingers, though delicate in appearance, gripped me with a strength that defied her slender frame. "Let me go," I stammered, trying to hide the quiver in my voice. My team had scattered in panic the moment she appeared, and now I was alone. "I cannot," she replied, tilting her head slightly. "Your presence here disrupts the balance." I had no idea what she meant, but my training kicked in. "I'm just a scientist. I'm here to study, to learn. I mean no harm." Her grip loosened slightly, though she didn't release me entirely. "Study. Learn. That is what you claim, but it is what follows you that brings destruction." My mind raced. Was she talking about the exploration team? Or perhaps the automated equipment we had brought? My heartbeat thundered in my ears, but I forced myself to stay calm. "What do you mean? What destruction?" I asked. Her luminous eyes flickered, and she gestured toward the dense jungle surrounding us. "This world breathes, human. It feels. Your machines cut into its flesh. Your presence disturbs its harmony. And worse, there are others who will come after you." I frowned. "Others?" Her gaze grew somber. "The ones who seek to conquer, not to learn. They follow your trail like predators." The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. She was talking about the corporations back on Earth. The ones who funded our mission not out of scientific curiosity, but for profit, for resources. "I don't work for them," I said, though the words felt hollow. "I'm here to understand, not to exploit." Her grip finally relaxed, and she stepped back, though her otherworldly gaze never left mine. "Understanding is the first step, human. But understanding alone will not save this world." Over the next several days, she shadowed me. Her name, or at least what I could approximate in my tongue, was Liora. She moved through the jungle with an elegance that made her seem more like a part of it than an intruder. Meanwhile, I struggled to keep up, tripping over roots and gasping for breath in the humid air. Liora showed me things I would never have discovered on my own. Bioluminescent plants that communicated through pulses of light. Rivers that carried not just water, but microscopic organisms vital to the ecosystem. And creatures that defied every law of biology I thought I understood. "Do you see now?" she asked one evening as we rested by a crystalline lake. "This world is alive in ways your kind cannot yet comprehend." I nodded, genuinely awestruck. "It's beautiful. But why show me all this? Why not just drive us away?" Her expression grew pained. "Because driving you away will not stop what follows. Your kind's hunger is vast. If not this world, then another. If not you, then others more ruthless." I couldn't argue with her logic. Humanity's track record wasn't exactly stellar. "Then what can I do?" I asked. Her gaze pierced through me, as if she were looking not just at me, but into me. "You must be the bridge. You must carry this understanding back to your kind and make them see. Only then can the balance be preserved." Convincing my team to listen was a challenge. Convincing the people back on Earth. That felt impossible. When I finally reunited with my colleagues, they bombarded me with questions about my disappearance. I tried to explain what I had seen, what Liora had told me, but their reactions ranged from skepticism to outright disbelief. "You expect us to report this to the board?" Dr. Simmons, our team leader, said, his tone dripping with incredulity. "An alien woman preaching about balance. Come on, Carter. You're a scientist, not a storyteller. I'm telling you, she's real. And she's right. We're disrupting this planet in ways we don't fully understand," I argued. "Even if that's true, it's not our call to make," Simmons shot back. "Our job is to collect data and report it. What happens after that is out of our hands." I clenched my fists, frustration boiling inside me. And what if the data we collect is used to strip this planet bare? Are we just going to stand by and let it happen? No one had an answer for that. Back on Earth, my warnings fell on deaf ears. The corporations saw only dollar signs. The scientific community dismissed my accounts as hallucinations or stress-induced fantasies. I became a pariah, my reputation tarnished by my insistence on telling the truth. But I didn't give up. I started small, sharing my story in independent journals and forums. I reached out to environmental groups, hoping to find allies who understood the stakes. And slowly, painfully, the tide began to turn. Liora had been right about one thing: understanding was the first step. The more people learned about Area 7, its beauty, its fragility, the more they began to care. Protests erupted against the corporations planning to exploit the planet. Scientists and activists joined forces to advocate for its preservation. Still, it wasn't enough. The corporations had resources and power far beyond anything we could muster. They moved forward with their plans, undeterred by public outcry. The night before the first mining fleet was scheduled to launch, I sat alone in my apartment, despair weighing heavily on me. I had done everything I could, and it still wasn't enough. A soft, melodic voice broke the silence. "Do not despair, human." I turned, startled, to find Liora standing in the corner of the room. Her shimmering form seemed dimmer, as if she carried the weight of the universe on her shoulders. "You're here," I whispered. "How?" "That does not matter," she said, stepping closer. "What matters is what you choose to do now." "I tried," I said, my voice cracking. "I tried, and I failed." She placed a hand on my shoulder, her touch both comforting and otherworldly. "Failure is not the end. It is a lesson. You have planted seeds of understanding. Now, you must ensure they grow." "How?" I asked, desperation creeping into my voice. "The corporations won't listen. They're launching tomorrow." Her eyes glowed with a fierce determination. "Then we must show them the cost of their actions." The next morning, as the mining fleet prepared to depart, something extraordinary happened. The skies above Earth darkened as thousands of shimmering forms appeared, each one a radiant echo of Liora. They spoke not with words, but with visions, images of Area 7's beauty, its interconnectedness, and the devastation humanity's greed would bring. The world watched in stunned silence. News channels broadcast the event live, capturing the awe and terror etched on people's faces. For the first time, humanity truly saw the consequences of its actions. The mining fleet was grounded. Governments convened emergency sessions. Scientists who had once dismissed me scrambled to understand the phenomenon. And slowly, the conversation began to shift.